Okay, so this is the conversation about personal purchases. And I usually just verbally talk about this when I'm chatting with a potential prospect or even a member. This is oftentimes maybe even something that comes up after they've joined. But regardless of when it comes up, it's a great time to talk about it because it really helps them understand how to use barter credits personally without affecting their actual net income. And it makes a lot of sense once you see it. So typically, let's just call this scenario one. Typically a business, let's just call this a printer. They have a bank account, right? A regular bank account. And when they want to make money, they pay themselves Canadian dollars to their personal bank account. So that's money, Canadian dollars as income to them. However, that income comes to them, it could be in the form of salary or wages or dividends or whatever way it is, it's income to their personal banks. Now the money's sitting in their personal bank account after tax. And let's just say this printer is looking for a new roof on their house. And so they would typically spend actual after-tax Canadian dollars. Let's just say this particular roof was going to cost them 10 grand. So in the regular Canadian dollar world, cash world, they would end up spending $10,000 on the roof, right? Okay, so that's how it typically goes. Printer has a bank account. They pay themselves income. Now the cash after tax is sitting in their personal bank account. Now they need a new roof, and they go out and spend 10 grand of their money with the roofer. No problem. They got the roof. They paid the money. Everybody's happy. But is there a guarantee that once this roofer has their $10,000 in money, is there a guarantee that that roofing company is going to turn around and buy $10,000 worth of printing back from the printer? Anyone?
Probably not.
Not really.
No guarantee at all.
This happens all the time, and it really almost drives me nuts. I'm like, I went to this car dealership one time, and I was talking about their printing and how much they spent in printing. It turned out they were spending like 30 grand a year in printing with a printing company. And I was like, oh, like, they must have like a couple of Ford trucks for their, delivery vehicles and all that. The owner must drive a Ford. He's like, I'm not sure what they drive. I'm like, oh, they don't spend like the 30 grand back with you on their vehicles. He's like, no. And come to think of it, I think they drive a GMC truck. I'm like, how do you as a business owner who owns a Ford dealership spend your hard-earned cash with a vendor that buys from your competitor, right? That's nuts. Anyways, that's how business works. Usually once the money leaves your bank, once the money leaves the personal bank account of the business owner, they get their roof. They can't control how that money comes back to them, right? And so it's gone forever. In fact, this roofing company might even go print with a different printer, right? That's their competitor. So what we want to do is teach business owners option two, right? They've got their bank account. Let's just call it BA. You guys will get the idea there. They've got their personal account. Let's just call it PA, right? And they still need the roof. Still a printer, still a roofing company. And this is how I would suggest that they do it, right? Now we meet them that we're like to the printing company. Well, now you're going to have your BarterPay account. So in addition to your regular cash account, you've got your BarterPay account, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to still pay yourself this income. That doesn't change. Now you've got 10 grand in your personal bank account, right? Right? But BarterPay is going to generate an extra, in your downtime, in your spare capacity, an extra $10,000 worth of new business in barter credits. So you got the 10,000 in your bank account, it's after tax personal cash. Now you got a new $10,000 in your barter credits in your BarterPay bank account, and your business barter account is going to actually spend $10,000 on your roof, right? So that's BP 10,000 goes to the roofing company for the roof.
So the personal bank account 10K, should an arrow go down to the BarterPay account?
Nope, not yet, but you're onto the right track there, Dom. If it stopped there, the business owner has to claim an extra $10,000 in income because they took barter credits out of their business account and used them for a personal expense, right? So if it all stopped here, they took the 10,000 in regular income, they've got it sitting in their personal bank account, right? And they've got the BarterPay account that now has been paid for their roof from their business. So that if it stopped there, they're now having to claim that $10,000 that their business account, barter account, bought their roof. They have to claim that as 10 grand worth of income again. So what we say is, no, don't do that if you don't want to. Just take the 10 grand that's sitting here in your personal account that you didn't have to use for the roofer, right? It didn't go this way. Just pay it back to your business account, and you pay off the expense that you took, which was the roof. So in scenario one, the roofer has their 10 grand in cash and they've got their roof. In scenario two, their own business has their 10,000 cash back and they still got their roof, right? but it forces 10 grand of their own after-tax personal cash right back into their own company. It's as if they bought the 10,000 barter credits from themselves in money, right? In actual money, and converted it, which means that the 10,000 in barter credits business that we sent to them is as if it was regular Canadian dollar business. Overall, this doesn't affect their personal income tax because they took out 10 grand worth of barter credits that bought their roof. They paid back 10 grand to their company in money to zero out that expense. So there's no negative consequences for their personal tax situation. There's only positive things that happened here. Number one, they still got their roof, but they paid for it out of brand new incremental business. And they just gave the 10 grand. Instead of giving their 10 grand to the roofer that's going to go spend it with their competitor or go on vacation, they're forcing the 10 grand back into their own company by bartering for the roof, the personal expense, right? And so that's how I teach businesses.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure that I've been telling people the right thing, because this is also what I've been doing and I actually don't know if it's right. When they're putting the $10,000 back into their business account, like what would you actually tag that in your bookkeeping as?
Shareholder. So what I would do is I would book the 10,000 barter credits I'm taking out that paid for my personal roof as a shareholder loan from the company.
Okay.
And in the shareholder account. And then I would actually, when the 10,000 cash goes back in after the fact, I would just be zeroing out that account and paying down my loan that I now owe. So back to zero, right? So it's all just runs through the shareholder account as a loan in, loan out. Yeah, net zero. I called that the Porter maneuver like years ago. So real life. Okay. So we had a mattress manufacturer that I bumped into years ago, like 25 years ago. His name was Mike from Best Way Bedding. And when I first signed him up, he was doing a mattress here, a mattress there. He was actually a manufacturer, like not like a retailer. He actually made them. And he would do a mattress here, a mattress there on BarterPay and get back some radio advertising, whatever else I had going on there. And about a year and a half into our relationship, he's like, John, I want to build a new house. Can you go and do a house deal? I'm like, well, okay, that's no problem. Glad to see that you're going to use these dollars personally because it'll just ramp up your bartering, right? Anyways, he said, yeah, I want to build a house. Let's do as much as we can on barter, and I'll put out as many mattresses as I need to build up the barter credits once you've got the house construction parts lined up and so on and so forth. So I open up the Yellow Pages. I get Lakewood Homes on the call. His name's Byron. I go and see him at his house. Turns out on the street that he lives on, there's one remaining lot that didn't sell. And so it was the last lot in the street. He was having trouble moving it. And he's like, yeah, I could give this a go. If he's willing to build his house on that lot, then I will take $50,000 worth of barter credits. And this is when houses, you could build a house for like $225,000 back in the day. And so I'll take $50,000 in barter credits on the house construction. I was like, perfect. I'll go back to him. So we went back to him. He's like, yep, I'm willing to do it. They met, they did all their architectural drawings, blah, 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 signed the deal. Mike from Best Way started to sell mattresses to build up 50 grand in his BarterPay account, right? Kind of like we just did the example there with 10 grand. And so we started to bring him all this new business, and he just built these mattresses when he had extra capacity, and boom, boom, boom. So as soon as he had the 50 grand in his account to make the deposit on the house, boom, we make that transaction happen. It goes over to Lakewood Homes. Well, Mike from Best Way would have had to claim that 50 grand worth of income because he's basically using it to put a deposit on his personal residence. So anyways, he does a deposit. Lakewood builds the house. Everything gets done. And at the end, Mike goes back to the bank to refinance. And of course, when the refinance happens and he gets his check, he pays off the builder. He has an extra 50 grand in cash because he used 50,000 of barter to pay for the house, right? And so all he did was write a check back to his own company for the 50 grand and paid down the barter loan that he had taken out of the company. So it's as if all that barter business that we had sent to him over that 4 to 6 months of building that account all turned back into actual money. And he didn't have to claim an extra 50 grand worth of income. It literally just says a 50 out, a 50 back in. But it's the type of currency that makes it so powerful, right? That's the first time I kind of did a deal like that where it was a bit larger. And I was like, geez, if business owners knew they could convert their spare capacity into barter credits, use it like crazy on the personal side, and just everything that they buy personally, if it's something they would have bought anyways, take the cash that they would have used from their personal account and just give it back to their own company. It's literally a way to convert all their spare capacity into actual Canadian dollars almost in real time. And businesses that understand that and why that makes sense do a lot more barter volume because they don't look at it even almost as barter anymore. They look at it as, geez, every time I do that, I'm literally, it's like I'm getting cash business because I'm going to convert it through my personal spending anyway.